Hello all. I was recently asked about designing word book panels in Scan and Cut Canvas, so I thought I'd take a moment to give you a rough overview of just one way of doing this. So I've started by giving the project a title, and then I'm going to bring in a couple of basic shapes. First one is a long rectangle, and the second one is a circle. They're the two basic shapes that are going to form our panels. What I'll also need to do though is bring on some text to add to the panels to make the words. So there's our basic elements on screen. I'm just going to clear some space and zoom in so you can see a bit better about what's going on. I'm going to start editing this now by selecting my text and just entering the letter B. I'm going to do a word book for the word baby, so B obviously would be the first letter. Next thing I'm going to do is change the panel size for the first letter. So I'm opening up the properties dialog box and just moving things so you can see what's happening. I'm going to deselect the maintain aspect ratio option and type in my variable, so 1 inch by 2 inch. I'll also edit the size of the circle while I'm here. I'm entering in a size of 0.125 inches. That's, I think, about the smallest circle that this Scan and Cut will be able to cut. It's about 3 millimeters. Now obviously that's tiny when it's on my mat, so I'm going to obviously zoom in a little bit more so we can see what's going on. There's my first one. Now, using a shortcut, which is just by pressing the letter D, so I've got them. I've got 3 there because I'm going to maybe tie this together with 3 ring binders. Selecting that group of 3 circles, and then I'm going to use my alignment tools to align them along the vertical axis, and then by pressing the keyboard character G I can group those together. Pressing D again, I get a duplicate copy. Mostly this time around though, because I want to show you a different option later on. Now what I'm doing is selecting the group of 3 circles and the panel and aligning them horizontally so that I will always know those circles will be in the right place. Then I've moved over my letter B, just roughly where I want it to be in relation to the panel. And then I'm going to choose the create offset function. I'm leaving the size at 0.2, and I'm leaving in fact all of the other options as they are on screen here. So if you need to do anything, just make sure they're all selected as they are there. So now we've got an outline and the actual character itself. If I just drag this apart a bit, you can see all of the different components that we've got. Ultimately what I want to do is weld the panel to that outline shape. So I'm just using Ctrl Z to undo that and bring them all back into position. So now I'm selecting both the panel and the outline shape and using my weld function to combine them together as a main shape. I'm choosing here to send this to the back in case I want to colour this shape on screen to help me understand which parts are cuttable. What I'm doing here though is changing the letter to a drawing line, because what I can do then is draw the B and then cut the shape around it. This is again just one way, it's not what you have to do. I'll show you another way in a second. And there we see the holes dragged onto the shape. A good thing to do at this point might be to group this together and move it around, but I'm just going to move on to the next thing. So I'm bringing in the duplicated group of punch holes. And what I'll need to do is bring on another rectangle again. Same as before, I'm just changing the size manually, so I need to deselect the maintain aspect ratio, size of 1 inch by 2 inch. Then I'm going to bring over the punch holes, select both shapes and then align horizontally, so I know they'll be directly in the middle of that shape. And then I'm using the process overlap divide function to punch those holes through that shape. So you can see there I've got cut lines both inside and out. If I drag it around, those punch holes will be exactly where I've put them. And because I used the divide function, I've still got a group of 3 circles to punch another shape with. However, I've chosen to delete them this time around. So that is essentially just one way, or one and a bit ways, of putting together the word panels. What I'm going to go on to show you now, though, is obviously a completed collection of panels and letters. What I've done this time around, though, is created the letters to be cuttable. What I'll do is just highlight these with some colour so you can see a bit better on screen what's going to be cut and what's not. Remember, the new update now gives us the option to colour more things all at once, which is good. And I'll colour things differently. It makes no difference to the cut, it's just so I can see things on screen. So basically there we've got the 4 panels, which will stick out from each other, and all of the letters. So if I just zoom in and have a bit of a scroll around for you, you can see what's going to be cut and what you'll end up with. So as I mentioned before, this time around those letters will be cut, so you would put those directly onto the panels after you've cut them out. Now, I haven't spent much time refining the outlines of these shapes. So as you can see, there are slight burrs where the letters join the shapes. For me, that's not a problem. If you're quite precise, you might need to resize those letters and just play around a little bit more. But the benefit is, obviously, once you've done it, and that's it, saved for future reference. Speaking of saving, I better save this and sign off, because that's me done. Again, another very quick and simple process for creating lots of different ideas with a scan and cut canvas. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I hope you get something out of it. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more, and you can also find me on Facebook and Twitter for lots of random banter. Thanks for watching.